Hello everybody, welcome to Trackalicious. Happy Monday, and we know what Monday brings. It brings the GT4 rookies, and welcome to the rookies indeed. A new season starting up today. We've got round one at Zandvoort already. So much action in the chat. Hello everybody, hope you have had a good start to the week so far. No better way to end the Monday than some Trackalicious action. Got the GT4 rookies, like we said, new season starting up, so some returning faces, some new ones as well. So with that being said, let's head to the track. The qualifying is underway. It is at the track in the Netherlands at Zandvoort, next to the beachside city. Lots of dust always getting blown onto the track. Certainly not something the drivers will have to face this evening. Shane Sullivan returning for another season in the 617 BMW. Always happy to see that teal color on the grid, with Shane Sullivan driving the 617. Moriko Yatanashi returning after a season off in the Mad Fox AM number 53 Porsche. Currently rounding out the second sector. And needing a good push here to try and set a competitive lap time after being off for a season. We'll see what sort of lap times Moriko can bring. At good pace before, we'll look to keep that momentum going from seasons past. Rally Dutchy returning as well. The Mad Fox AM team being represented heavily here as he rounds the final corner and heads down the start-finish straight to start his first qualifying lap attempt in the 621 Porsche. As we can see, not quite optimal conditions out on the track, and it is a hot one, like you said there, Brian. 33 degrees Celsius, 40 out on the track. A little bit of cloud cover as Rally Dutchy running a little bit wide on the banking, picking up a bit of marbles on those tires, but the GT4s do take a few laps to warm up, so perhaps it's just one of those warm-up laps for Rally Dutchy in the 621 as he goes heavily onto the grass, nearly kicking the Porsche sideways. And so Rally Dutchy pushes on and pushes a little bit too far off the track and into the barrier, so the Porsche will have to return to the pits, get that damage fixed, and hopefully get out on track. Back out on track with plenty of time to spare. About 11 minutes left in the session as the 942 also under yellow flag before the final few corners at the end of the lap there. And Isaac Rodriguez returning from last season, had good form, finishing on the podium a few times in the Speed Killers Racing McLaren. As we've got times on the board, Shane Sullivan goes to the top, a 146.610 with a provisional pole time. You've got Freiberger in second place, with Tyler Morgan returning to the rookies track action after being in the commentary booth for a season and a half. You've got Saunderson on the board in fifth, Kanoko in sixth, Ransom able to get into third, and Moriko Yatanashi gets on the front row in second, and Dr. Porkchop 0.02 of a second off of the time of Shane Sullivan, set by Shane Sullivan in provisional pole. That is super tight between the BMW and the Alpine. Where can Isaac Rodriguez go? He goes to second, and Ebenhardt in this number 7 Porsche goes to first place. So it is super tight at the top there. 1/10 between Rodriguez and Eberhardt. Then Shane Sullivan down to third, with Tyler Morgan looking to get a time on the board, with Neil giving Tyler Morgan some energy as he currently sits in 8th on the grid, looking for an improvement, and he gets one, gets up to 6th place. So Drew Freiberger now around the final corner in his 419 Mercedes to the line, will take that position back from Tyler, pushing the Aston Martin to 7th as the Mercedes climbs to 6th. And now Moriko Yatanashi, a few corners left to see if they can improve from the top 5, or in the top 5, I should say, currently in 5th place, rounding out the final corner to the start-finish line. Where can the Mad Fox Am climb all the way to the top? Half a second clear of Eberhard at the top of the charts. And with that time being set by Yatanashi, that is certainly a benchmark time for the other drivers to chase. See if Isaac Rodriguez can get close to that lap time as he rounds the final corner and up to the line. Not able to improve on this lap. Still about 8 minutes left in the session for the drivers to find improvements, with a few drivers at the bottom there still looking for a time on the board. Tenno Kanoko does have a time on the board in the Big Ten Porsche, looking for an improvement, running a little bit wide into the grass and into the barrier, unfortunately there, just a little bit wide, and the Porsche did not favor losing the grip on the grass, and the rear end slid a considerable amount there to see Kanoko find the barrier. We'll have to return back to the pits. With Dr. Porkchop did find himself at the top, or near the top, at one point, about 2 thousandths off of Shane Sullivan. Now Shane Sullivan able to improve up into 3rd, with the Alpine of Dr. Porkchop looking to do the same. Currently rounds out the top 5, about 9/10 off of the provisional pole time. But where can the little nimble Alpine climb? A very good track, well suited for the Alpine. Lots of tight and twisty corners for the Alpine to take advantage as he rounds the final corner. Dr. Porkchop will look to improve, and how high can he improve? He goes all the way to the front row to 2nd place, 3.5 tenths off of Moriko Yatanashi's time. So Omar Perez, the top Mercedes on the grid, running perfectly within the track limits there, not kicking a wheel onto the grass, but he does just do that at the final corner. The Mercedes just couldn't keep the grip, and that will see an invalidated time, unfortunately, from the top Mercedes driver, with the Mid-Pack Mafia 419 in 7th place, about 6/10 off of the time set by Perez. Looking for an improvement though, and kicking a wheel into the gravel, hopefully not costing Drew too much time, as now it is just a flat-out blast to the line in that Mercedes. He does improve his time, but it is not enough to improve past Perez. So Freiberger will have to try again, as once again he just kicks a wheel into the gravel there. And off to the side of the road will go the Mercedes. Josh Ransom in the skid mark, racing 503. Currently sitting in the top 10. A few hundredths off of Tyler Morgan in the position in front. Do believe this is a flying lap for Josh Ransom. We'll see what the time is as he crosses the line, going through the Audi chicane at turn number 10 and 11. And now through turn 12, very tight corner before opening it up for 13. A lot more banked in the current day and age than it is in the ACC Sim. But nonetheless, Ransom goes up to 8th place, jumping Saunderson and Morgan. I agree, Brian, it is an awesome team name indeed. And we've got some fans of Rodriguez in the chat, so let's ride on board with Isaac as he completes the first sector, and we'll go through the high-speed right-hand corners, climbing the hill. This track is pretty much in the middle of a sand dune national park, so that is where you see all of the hills and undulations come from in the track layout, especially towards that back section. Very tight corner, down to second gear. Lots of right-hand corners at Zandvoort. Tight left-hander here before opening it up. Exiting turn number 9, now approaching the very tight right-hander at turn 10. Braking at the curb, down to second gear once again. A right and then a tight left-hander before a little bit of a straight before the final 2 corners. Isaac Rodriguez currently in the top 5, looking for an improvement to maybe find himself on the second row or even the top row if he can get past the Porsche of Eberhard, just easing it onto the throttle, but running wide and onto the grass and not able to keep it under control there. But out of the barrier, luckily, is Isaac Rodriguez. So he will have just about enough time to go out for 1 lap, but of course at that point the tires might not be at their optimum operating window, with Josh Ransom up across the line just 3 thousandths off of his own personal best, so not finding an improvement on that lap. With the track temperature increasing, I'm sure those tires will be increasing will be harder for them to find the grip out on track as well. Chris Saunderson in the number 18 Audi, currently in the top 10 in 9th place in the Allison Racing machine. Going a little bit wide, exiting turn 12, or turn 11 I should say. Now approaching turn 12. Able to keep it under control, but I think that might have just invalidated his lap, so he will have to go around for another flying lap attempt. And with just under a minute and a half, this will be the last flying lap attempt for Chris Saunderson in the first qualifying session of round 1. So how high can the Audi climb? And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'll be able to find an improvement, so 9th will be the highest that the Audi of Chris Saunderson can finish. Tyler Morgan pushing on in the Aston Martin. I don't want to be pole. Well, don't drive so fast, Moriko. That's the only suggestion I have. Thank you for the subscription. Much appreciated, Moriko. Thank you for the ongoing support from everybody here at Trackalicious. I can't help it. You know, fair enough. Sometimes you just gotta go fast. And go fast, you did there, my friend. Tyler Morgan looking to replicate that. Rounding out the top 10 and rounding out the final corner, just keeping it nice and steady there. He will cross the line with 1 more attempt, but he might not need it as he goes all the way up to 7th, taking 3 positions in 1 go. And there is the qualifying effort from Tyler Morgan completed. 7th will be the time, or the current time set as Shane Sullivan gets within 300ths of Morico at the top there. Morico nearly getting eclipsed by Shane Sullivan, but he is still out on a lap, so Shane just might find the time yet and find the, which will find the BMW sitting on pole position, currently sitting in second place on the front row alongside the Porsche of Yatanashi, as Josh Ransom going a little bit deep into turn 10, and that will be the lap invalidated for the number 503. Oh man, so that little bit of a mistake there at turn number 10, just not finding the grip through the corner as Shane Sullivan goes off just a little bit, and it looks like he has had a bit of an off as he is going slowly around the final corner, looking to return to the pits in the 617, as he will be the last driver out on track. So that is the grid set for the first qualifying of the rookies season. Morico Yatanashi will take pole for the starting race of the season. And as you guys were saying there, the tires are only good for about 2 laps here in this heat, so we'll just have to wait and see what will happen during the 20 minutes of racing we have ahead. Still a fast track ahead of us. Very warm conditions, 34 Celsius ambient, and the track is up to 42. And from the qualifying session, let's remind ourselves of the starting grid. A very reluctant pole position from Morico Yatanashi in the Mad Fox Am number 53 Porsche, but nonetheless, congratulations for taking the first pole position of the season. Alongside Morico will be Shane Sullivan in the 617 Racing BMW. Good result from the first round, or the first round of qualifying, I should say, from Shane Sullivan. Starting the second row will be Dr. Porkchop in the Chop Shop Racing Alpine. The number 71 will have Josh Eberhardt for company in the number 7 Porsche Motorsport. Isaac Rodriguez starts the third row in the Speed Killers Racing Team number 14 McLaren. He'll have Omar Perez alongside him in the Team Parker Racing number 25 AMG. Co-commentator from last season, Tyler Morgan in the Morgan Motorsport GT4 number 72 will start on the fourth row in 7th place in the number 72 Aston. Drew Freiberger will be alongside him in the 419 Mid-Pack Mafia Racing, with Josh Ransom in 9th place in the Skidmark Racing 503 Camaro. Chris Saunderson will round out the top 10 in the Allison Racing number 18 Audi, as he will look to gain positions from the start. Rally Dutchy will start from 11th in the Mad Fox Am 621 Porsche, teammates to Morico Yatanashi. Then you've got Tedo Kanoko in the Big 10 Porsche. The number 9 will start from 12th place. You've got Hezzy Thomas returning for another season in the Dog Box Racing Camaro. The number 59 starts from 13th, and Noah Johnson in the 942 Aston Martin will start from 14th. The engines get started for a full formation lap here. Morico Yatanashi will lead the field away at the Circuit Zandvoort. Like we said, next to the beachside town at Zandvoort. Long beach, spreading pretty much the entirety of the city, and just behind one of the dunes you will find the track here at Zandvoort. A very skinny stretch of road, but very suited for these GT4 cars for some great side-by-side racing. And a few updates as of recent to a few corners. Turn 3 coming up here. A bit more banking has been added than there is currently in the sim, and the final corner as well, given the same treatment as given a little bit more of a banking. Predictions for my finishes, anybody? Yes, of course, Tyler famously had his predictions before the race, so now we'll leave it up to the chat to be the predictor of the races. And we've already got one from Brian. He sees Tyler moving at least 2 positions, but he doesn't say if it's forward or back. So that's a pretty broad prediction. So essentially, if he moves up 3 places or drops back 3 places or more. That is the prediction from Brian in the chat. And welcome everybody else watching along as well. Hope you're all having a good Monday. Happy to have you here at the starting round of the GT4 rookies here on Mondays at Trackalicious. And if you want to get yourself signed up, it's not too late. Signups are open on SimGrid, !SimGrid will take everybody, or we'll open up a link and you can get yourself signed up and see yourself out on the grid for round 2 next week. So still not too late to sign up for this series or any of the other series that Trackalicious hosts, but more on that later. We've got a 20-minute race ahead of us here. So the grid is getting set in that famous zipper formation we like to see at the end of the lap. Just one more corner for the drivers to round before the green flag will wave. And that will start the 20-minute timer for the GT4 Rookies season to begin. Track now improved to optimum, so that is good for the grip levels for the drivers. And now the green light waves on the new season. Shane Sullivan, great start, already getting past the Porsche. There's a bit of contact in the back. It looked like that was the Porsche of Josh Eberhardt getting involved, but Shane Sullivan able to get the position through turn 1, I should say, even before that. Had it through the braking zone, and behind there was a little bit of chaos there. Hopefully a bit. Oh, it's Hezzy Thomas going through the inside there, squeezing past Tenno Kanoko. A great move from Hezzy. Sees him move up a few places from the start, up to 9th place now on the tail of the 419 Mercedes. That is Drew Freiberger up ahead for position, and behind that is Noah Johnson looking to get those places as well. Hezzy Thomas drifting a little bit wide and into the gravel and keeping it under control there, as that is a great move from Noah Johnson, sending it down the inside, but the inside opened up for 2, and Tenno Kanoko unable to get the car slowed down, hitting Noah Johnson there. And both of those drivers, it looks like, able to survive for the most part, as Isaac Rodriguez has dropped to the back of the pack here, unfortunately, for the number 14, but plenty of race still to go for them to make up the ground, as Josh Eberhardt will look to do the same as he goes around the outside of the Aston Martin, and that is the Camaro. We'll turn the game down a little bit. Bang, bang. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you guys. And yeah, first lap's a bit more chaotic, I agree. So now, with that being said, Josh Eberhardt now opening up the inside for Noah Johnson to get that position into Tarzan corner, into turn 1. So Shane Sullivan at the front, still holding on to the race lead from Moriko Yatanashi. Dr. Porkchop hanging on to third. And Tyler Morgan, slipping by all the chaos, moves up into fourth place. And Rally Dutchy with a good improvement from the start as well, up into fifth place. Omar Perez on the tail of Hezzy Thomas, looking to get that position back after he started up in sixth place. And he will look to slip to the inside of Hezzy Thomas here. Is there enough of an overlap? Hezzy opening up the gap just a little bit there. And now Omar once again to the inside of turn number 8 will get that job done, as he now will switch to the inside line again to take the defensive to not allow the switchback from Hezzy Thomas. And that is good driving from Omar Perez. Now he will look ahead to Chris Saunderson in the number 18 Audi. And it's side by side between Isaac Rodriguez and Noah Johnson. Aston Martin versus McLaren, the two British manufacturers going side by side. Noah Johnson hard on the brakes, deep into the corner, allowing the inside to open for the switchback, and Isaac Rodriguez will happily take that place. You can't quite go full power through that final corner, but Isaac Rodriguez hanging on to the position. He will weave from side to side to try to break that toe from Noah Johnson. And now on the brakes, Noah Johnson very committed, goes a little bit deep, but he had the side-by-side overlap there and gets the position back. And this is a great battle between these two. Oh, and what happened there? Noah Johnson. Oh, he just went a little bit wide and caught the barrier there. I was looking over at the timing charts. Couldn't quite pick out what happened there, but yeah, it looked like he just picked up the curb there. And now, unfortunately, dropping back a few places is Noah Johnson. After that great battle with the McLaren, Josh Eberhardt is now on the tail of Hezzy Thomas for 9th place. This is quite entertaining indeed. And Hezzy Thomas defending the inside but going deep, and that allows Josh Eberhardt the switch back to the inside. And so now down this small little straightaway, can the Porsche get enough of a gap to get the overlap? And Hezzy Thomas goes deep on the brakes, and the inside opening up, and it's contact between Rodriguez and Eberhardt. Both of them go spinning, and the Porsche able to recover. The 503 of Ransom gets through, and we can see that Isaac Rodriguez able to get going in the background there in the number 14 McLaren. Omar Perez in 8th, gaining ever so slightly on the tail of Chris Saunderson in front. That gap was around 2 seconds before, now within 1 second, as Saunderson himself has gained on Freiberger in the 419 Mercedes. So the Audi finds himself in a bit of an AMG sandwich here. Rounding the banked turn 3 and going through the hilly section pretty much flat out up until this point here. A tap on the brakes and sees the car sweep back down the hill. Lots of right-hand corners coming up, a bit of a left-hand kink before another dab on the brakes, down a gear. And can Omar Perez find the move to the inside? He's thinking about it. There was a little bit of an overlap. Saunderson left enough of a gap for Omar Perez, and they're still side by side going through turn number 9, and the Audi will have the inside and will retain the position from Omar Perez, attacking from 8th place. Thank you, Rose Gaming, for the subscription. We really love the support. Everybody at Trackalicious, thanks you for that subscription. Hope you're enjoying the action so far. just about 8 minutes underway, and so much has happened so far. The top two have a 5-second gap over Dr. Porkchop, but they are still battling it out. That is Shane Sullivan and Moriko Yatanashi at the front of the field going through turn number 3. Moriko had pole position, but Shane Sullivan with a great start, able to get the lead before the braking zone of turn 1 and hasn't looked back since. Shane Sullivan also holding the fastest lap of the race currently, but Moriko still within touching distance, keeping Shane Sullivan honest out in front. Oh, and Tyler Morgan in the pits. What's happened there? He was in a great position up in 4th place. And I'm not sure if there was damage. And Tyler again mentioning how he hates this track. Seeing himself in the pit lane, I should say. Noah Johnson also having a visit to the pit, so not a good start for the two Aston Martin drivers. As Rally Dutchy back to 5th place, Freiberger able to move up into 4th, and can Saunderson get the position as well? Dutchy coming under pressure now after driving up in 4th place for the time being. Now has company behind. Saunderson will look to the inside. There's a bit of an overlap, but not a whole lot. Omar Perez in 7th place in that red Mercedes will also look to pounce on any opportunity that presents itself in front. Runs a little bit wide. The Porsche doesn't quite have the exit speed. The Audi blowing by, a bit of contact, unsettling the Porsche, and the Porsche finds the wall on the inside and the outside, unfortunately there for Rally Dutchy. That Porsche just got so unsettled after that little bit of contact from the Audi. And my goodness. Yeah, oh no, indeed. That was quite chaotic there. See if we can pick it back up here. So Saunderson was just looking to creep back over to the racing line, and the Porsche was just kind of there, and then Saunderson runs wide. So Perez benefited majorly there, picking up 2 places in the 1 corner, and there was more side-by-side action and touching as Saunderson going into the wall on the exit of turn 2. My, oh my. And it's side-by-side here. Hezzy Thomas and Eberhardt through turn 7, or that's turn 8, excuse me, now into turn 9. Eberhardt has the inside into the left-hander. Can Hezzy keep the speed around the outside? A bit of a drift exiting the corner. Isaac Rodriguez looking to pick up the scraps. This is a great 3-car battle here. Lots of damage to the front of the Porsche there as he gets up into 7th place. Hezzy Thomas in 8th, and Isaac Rodriguez will hang on to 9th place as the Camaro of Ransom will also look to join the battle. Hezzy Thomas drifts a little bit wide exiting turn 12. Isaac Rodriguez sweeps on through, and the 503 of Ransom forced to go on the brakes to avoid contact with the 59 Camaro in front. So Rally Dutchy in the pits after that contact with the wall. Tyler Morgan out of the pits and back out on track. And Noah Johnson back in the pits. There's a quick yellow flag for the 59. That is Hezzy Thomas. Hopefully he's able to get back on track safely there. And it looks like he's able to do that. No banking makes angry. I agree, yeah. I mean, granted, they did release this before the track updates went into play, and I don't think the GT World Challenge visits Zandvoort on that regular of an occasion anymore. Oh, is Hezzy Thomas up on 2 wheels going onto the grass. My goodness me, able to avoid flipping the car there is Hezzy Thomas, as Isaac Rodriguez looking to put on the pressure. Eberhardt out in front in the number 7 Porsche, looking to hold off the number 14. My brakes aren't working. This is the 942. No, Johnson. I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. Well, the fortunate thing is there is still another qualifying and a race 2 to potentially get a better result on the board, as Isaac Rodriguez goes to the inside of Tarzan corner, and the Porsche will look to hold the speed around the outside, and they will not go side by side. The McLaren will take that position outright, exiting turn 1. Isaac Rodriguez up now to 7th. He will look to close the gap on Dr. Porkchop in front. The gap is right around 9 seconds to the driver in 6th place, that Alpine. And so Isaac Rodriguez will look to use his pace in the final 6 minutes of the race to try and close that gap, but that will be a monumental climb in the closing minutes of the race we have left. Shane Sullivan in the lone BMW on the grid, out in the lead. And there is Moriko Yatanashi still applying the pressure, flashing the lights, trying to get Shane Sullivan distracted. Into the braking zone of turn 1 they go. And it is nearly bumper to bumper between the two, and it looks like the Porsche just has the advantage in the braking zones, but the BMW able to pull away in those crucial sectors where it matters. Into turn number 3 they go. And now climbing the hills, Moriko once again throwing on the distraction lights, trying to get into the mind of Shane Sullivan to get the BMW a little bit phased and maybe run just that little bit wide and open up an opportunity where it matters. Nearly bumper to bumper once again into the braking zone of turn number 7, and it is very tight between the top 2. Going into turn 8, now exiting. It looked like for a split second Moriko might have had a side-by-side overlap, but Shane Sullivan closing that opportunity in an instant. And now one of the heaviest braking zones on the track, approaching turn number 10, and it looks like Shane Sullivan will hold off the attack this time, and there's a bit of contact. Spinning the 617 and Moriko, very good sportsmanship there from the 53 Porsche, just waiting for the 617 to get back underway. Yes, exactly. There was really no way for Yatanashi to get by. Their pace is very evenly matched. Their qualifying pace, 300ths off, and their top times, or their personal bests in the race, separated by just about 1/10 of a second. So very, very close between the BMW and the Porsche at the top of the field. Drew Freiberger in the 419 will look to get the position from Omar Perez after recently giving it up. And Omar Perez with a really good climb back through the field. He was down in 8th place at one point, and all climbing all the way back to that final step of the podium, unless Drew Freiberger has anything to say about that, as the two AMGs will battle for that final podium position. It is the mid-pack Mafia in the 419 in 4th place, attacking the 25 of Omar Perez in front. So still everything to be decided between the top three. Will it be Shane Sullivan on the top step, or will it be Moriko Yatanashi in that battle between the top duo? And which one of these AMGs will finish on that podium place? Or will Chris Saunderson have anything to say about that? He's not too far off in the Audi, about 2 seconds adrift. So should anything happen between the two AMGs in front, and they have kept it clean so far, just looking to grow that gap, and it has grown, in fact, to about 3 seconds to the Audi. So Omar Perez will just look to hold off Drew Freiberger in the closing 2 minutes. Should be about 2 laps left for our drivers to settle it in the first race of the rookies' new season. Is there only one race? There is not. There are 2 races. So we've got the 15-minute qualifying session. Then we have this current 20-minute race. After this one, we will have another 15-minute qualifying session. And then we will have race 2, which is a 20-minute race again. So all is still to play for in the second race, but we still have a minute and change remaining in this one. The 2 AMGs continue to battle as the 617 BMW will look to hold off the fast charging Moriko Yatanashi for that win of the first race. Thank you very much for the follow. Hope you've been enjoying the race so far. It has been pretty entertaining from the start, a bit more chaotic than we would have hoped, a bit more contact, but this is, of course, the Rookies League, where we are here to learn how to race. So Drew Freiberger still within touching distance of the AMG in front, but not quite close enough to pull off a move to the inside just yet. And the 942, it looks like Noah Johnson having brake issues still there in the gravel exiting turn 1. So with 10 seconds on the clock, Shane Sullivan will cross the line to start the final lap of race 1. Moriko Yatanashi, very deep on the brakes, was looking to get any sort of advantage into the braking zone of turn 1, but not finding it there, going a little bit deep, giving a little bit more breathing room to Shane Sullivan out in front. We'll keep an eye on this AMG battle here for that final step of the podium. Drew Freiberger applying monumental pressure, sliding through the exit of turn 3, drifting it onto the grass. A heavy damage there to the Aston Martin of Johnson. But Drew Freiberger in that AMG trying to get as much pressure applied as possible to potentially see Omar Perez slide a little bit wide, maybe opening up a little bit of an opportunity, but Omar Perez holding on to the pressure just fine, as they have just one sector to go to battle it out. But Omar Perez opened that gap to right about 1.5 seconds. And Shane Sullivan, just 2 corners left, led from turn 1, didn't get pole position, but that didn't matter for the 617. He will start on the highest note possible on the top step. Race winner Shane Sullivan, take a bow. And a big congrats to Moriko Yatanashi. Great pace after being off for a season, back on a high note in a podium position. And Omar Perez holds on to take the final step of the podium. Congrats to Drew Freiberger. Congrats on 4th place. Dr. Porkchop across the line in 5th in the Alpine. Chris Saunderson holding off Isaac Rodriguez. 2 tenths separating those two across the line. Good recovery from Rodriguez. He was down in last place at one point. Eberhardt, good recovery from the Porsche as well, up to 8th place. Josh Ransom will be 9th in the 503 Camaro. And last but not least, we will have Hezzy Thomas. He will round out the top 10. Tyler Morgan taking the checkered flag in 11th. Noah Johnson in 12th. Kanoko in 13th. And Rally Dutchy will finish from the pit lane in 14th. And Hezzy Thomas here taking the checkered flag in 10th. And that will see the end of race 1. These GT4s are racing this fun. I'm scared for Wednesday. I'm in a GT3. Well, don't be scared. Like Brian said there. It's a big mix of skill on the grid on Wednesday. All the way from pro to elite to rookies. Everybody is welcome in the Wednesday multi-class championship. I'll leave you guys on board with Tyler Morgan as I forgot to grab my tea. We'll be back in 1 second. Hopefully a lovely co-commentator. Tyler Morgan kept you guys entertained for that sector, as he is out for his outlap, the first one out on track, and he has quite a gap to the cars behind. Oh yeah, I agree. I agree with you there, Omega. Nothing is wrong with them running on Wednesday. Track time is track time. It will be fun. Last season was certainly a blast to commentate on. I'm really looking forward to what this season brings as well. And yeah, should be a blast. I absolutely love multi-class racing. Top 10 in the first race feels nice. Oh yeah, the left two tires, I'm sure they were struggling, and it is going to be the same story here in qualifying number 2. Optimal conditions, Tyler Morgan heavily riding the curb. Getting some style points there, as he will be the first to start a flying lap here at the circuit, Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Tires are a suggestion. Well, they are a suggestion, but I suggest you use them well. And yes, Hezzy, I agree. I hope you can do that in the second race as well. Very strong result from Hezzy Thomas. So he will look to continue that, as Tyler Morgan flying through the first sector in the middle of sector 2 now. Back down the hill he goes. Delicately just easing onto the throttle there before applying the brakes into turn number 8. The large, nearly hairpin-like corner sequence here. First to the right, then to the left, before this little mini straight to close out sector 2 and start the final sector. Hard braking zone into turn number 10. Take the right amount of curb just there. Well done, Tyler. Sweep it wide and onto the brakes. Why onto the brakes? Perhaps. Oh, those are just the lights coming on there. All is well from Tyler Morgan as he goes through the final corner and up to the line. He will set the provisional time for the drivers to chase, a 1:51.425. will be the time on the board. Dr. Porkchop going through that final sector as well. So the little Alpine using all of the power it has to go up to the line, and where will he go? He will go up to second place, now third, as Yatanashi goes to provisional pole position. Isaac Rodriguez slides into second place, Eberhardt in third, Porkchop there in fourth, Ransom in fifth, and Tyler Morgan back to the pits with a valid lap on the board. Shane Sullivan, race winner from the first time around, will look to continue that result, sliding a little bit exiting turn 12, but all still well under control in the BMW. He might have a little bit of a slipstream from Omar Perez in front, as Omar Perez not able to get a time on the board, and Shane Sullivan does get a time, and he finds himself provisionally on the front row, around 2/10 off of the time set by Moriko Yatanashi at the top. Oh, and the Porsche full out, trying to go flat out at the final corner, dipping a wheel into the grass, but still under control, and into the top three goes Eberhardt. Dr. Porkchop looking for an improvement, sitting in the top five. Can he climb higher than fifth to the line, up to fourth place for the time being, as Yatanashi not able to improve on the time at the top for the time being. So now Freiberger to the line, fourth place in race one. No qualifying lap on the board up until this point, and it is sixth place for the 419 AMG as he rides the curb very heavily, doing a bit of a drift there and into the grass. Invalidating the lap is the AMG. Now, can Chris Saunderson find a time in the second qualifying session in the Audi? Up to the line, currently sitting in 8th place, but a time is on the board. Just about halfway into the qualifying session, still plenty of time left for the drivers to potentially improve on their flying lap attempts, but we really didn't see a whole lot of improvement from the first stints in the first qualifying session, so maybe will be more of the same. Good evening, Rob Valkyrie. Hope you're doing well. Welcome into qualifying 2 of the first round of the new season of the GT4 Rookies. And hello to you, Mommy's favorite accident. Hope you are doing well. And like I was saying from before, those temperatures might just keep climbing, so it'll be very hard to find improvements. What a username indeed. I agree. That's a fun one. So Omar Perez to the line, podium finisher from race 1, currently taking a podium or a top 3 position in the qualifying as he slots in front of Eberhardt. How are the rookies looking? They're looking pretty all right. A bit of a chaotic race 1. Some contact here and there side by side. But we're here to learn, and that is what this is all about. And so hopefully by the end of the season, we will see some absolutely epic side-by-side racing as Hezzy Thomas does some epic drifts there and getting into the way of Omar Perez on a qualifying lap. A bit of an impeding moment there. Unfortunately, it looked like for Omar. So hopefully he will be able to get another lap on the board. As it looked like he did have to take heavily onto the brakes there. Nice to see our favorite ex-commentator in last for Valentine's. He is not an ex-commentator, he is just a moved commentator. He's planning on doing the Wednesday multi-class series instead for the commentary side of things, and then participating alongside the fellow rookies here on Mondays as Freiberger improves up into 4th place. And there is 300ths separating Omar Perez in 3rd from Eberhardt in 5th place. And somehow Freiberger found a time right in the middle of that. Saunderson to the line with Tyler Morgan behind as well. Saunderson did get an improvement, as did Tyler Morgan. Morgan moving all the way up into 6th place. A good lap on the board from the Aston Martin. And just like that, from last on the valid times to 6th place. And back to the pits goes the Aston Martin, as the Audi of Chris Saunderson continuing around in the final 4 minutes of the qualifying session, looking to improve from 10th place. No dramas through turn 8. A bit heavy on the curb, but it didn't look like that impacted the grip levels too much, so kept the speed about the same. And exiting turn 9, all is clean. Now heavy braking zone. And nice and smoothly over the first curb, and just riding the apex very nicely through turn 11. And now just 2 corners left for the Audi. Needs about 4/10ths of an improvement to get past Ransom in front. Dips a wheel into the grass, unfortunately losing a little bit of speed. And again exiting turn 14, and now to the line. Can the Audi crack the top 10? Saunderson does just that. So Shane Sullivan is still about 2/10ths off of the time set by Moriko Yatanashi at the top. And I believe that was an outlap for the BMW. So this will be the push lap for Shane Sullivan. And let's ride on board with the BMW. I'm sure Brian DeSantiago, the veteran BMW driver, will have a word or two to say about the lap here around Zandvoort. A bit squirrely exiting turn 3, and now it is flat out to the right, and now to the left, up a gear, riding the curb, and back to the right, down a gear, down a few gears, getting the engine braking before climbing up into 4th, trying to keep the speed alive, down to third, over the curb, sweeping it out wide and heavily now onto the brakes for this very tight right-hand corner. Going a little bit deep, but still keeping the speed going in the BMW. And now the very, very slow left-hand corner. And Shane Sullivan exits very nice, very cleanly. Just one sector left. Heavy braking zone into turn 10. How much curb will Shane Sullivan take? Pretty much all of it. Down to second. Nice and smooth exiting, applying the power delicately, and now all the way down before a quick dab of the brakes, down a gear to third, and now climbing up the gears, a bit of a lift, and now power all the way down to the line. Where will Shane Sullivan end up? Can he improve on his time? He just can't quite on this lap, but he did cross the line before the checkered flag, so he will have one more attempt to try and improve on his time and maybe, just maybe, find himself on pole position as Ransom up to the line, able to get an improvement on the time, but not able to get an improvement on the position. So 10th will be the highest that Ransom can finish. Tyler Morgan taking the checkered flag from 6th place as well. So Noah Johnson in the Chickadee Racing Aston Martin, the 942, flat out over the grass to the line, finds an improvement but can't find a position, so 8th will be the highest that the 942 Aston. So it turns out, yeah, the brake was at, okay, so that was the brake light. That wasn't just the tail lights. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So with all the other drivers in the pits, Shane Sullivan, the last driver out on track. And can he have anything to say about the position of Moriko Yatanashi out in front? So Shane Sullivan trying to carry as much speed. It looks like the BMW understeering through the final corner. Just can't find the grip levels in this heat. So 2nd place will be where Shane Sullivan ends up, and it will be the same front row as it was in race number 1, with Moriko Yatanashi on pole position. You did it again indeed. Stop driving so fast. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I didn't see what happened to Tyler either. I just saw him up in the top 5 at one point and then back in the pits. So yeah, not too sure what happened there. Alrighty. So that was qualifying 2 completed. Let's remind ourselves of the grid for race number 2. As it was in race 1, Moriko Yatanashi will take another reluctant pole position in the Mad Fox AM Racing number 53 Porsche. Shane Sullivan will be alongside the front row, or alongside on the front row in the 617 Racing BMW. Omar Perez will start from 3rd place in the Team Parker Racing number 25 AMG, and he will have the fellow AMG driver Drew Freiberger in the 419 in an all AMG 2nd row. In 5th place will be Josh Eberhardt in the number 7 Porsche, looking for a strong top 5 finish here as well. And Tyler Morgan will keep him company on the 3rd row in the Morgan Motorsport GT4 number 72 Aston Martin, excuse me. Isaac Rodriguez starts the 4th row in the Speed Killers Racing Team number 14 McLaren. Noah Johnson alongside him in the Chickadee Racing 942 Aston Martin. The 71 Alpine of Dr. Porkchop will start from 9th place. The Chop Shop Racing will look to use that nimble body and gain some places from the start. And Josh Ransom rounds out the top 10 in the 503 Skidmark Racing Camaro. Chris Saunderson will start from 11th in the number 18 Allison Racing Audi, with Hezzy Thomas alongside him in 12th place in the Dogbox Racing number 59 Camaro. 2 Porsches at the back. We've got Tenno Kanoko in the Big Ten number 9 starting from 13th. And then Rally Dutchy in the Mad Fox Am 621, making the entire grid a big Mad Fox Am Racing sandwich. So engines started, formation lap will be underway. Slightly cooler temperatures, ambient wise, much cooler track temperature wise, so the tires will be very, very happy about that. So we will see if the cooler temperatures perhaps brings an advantage to one car over another in race number 2. I agree, Noah Johnson. Good luck to you and your brakes indeed. So will it be the same top 2 running away in race number 2 as we saw it in the previous 20-minute race? Shane Sullivan able to get a good jump on Moriko from the start, and Moriko saying in the chat will look to avoid that same kind of start. Racing in VR certainly adds a whole other element of difficulty to what is already a pretty difficult hobby to get into. And we have got all sorts of drivers out on the grid, from keyboards to controllers to belt-driven wheels to fancy, super fancy direct drive wheels. We welcome everybody here. So if you want to find yourself on the grid here at Trackalicious, all are welcome. Couldn't quite pick out what happened at the start of race 1 on that main straight. And I was just wondering the same thing, Omega. I was about to say I'm very hopeful that we avoid the same outcome on the main straight on lap 1 to allow for a slightly more closer field to see some 3, maybe 4 car battles around this tight and twisty Zandvoort track. Would be absolutely epic stuff. And so the formation lap coming to an end. Hopefully the drivers got their cars, their brakes and their tires and themselves warmed up and ready to get going for the final race of round number 1. 20 minutes of action lie ahead as the grid forms up on the start-finish straight, and we will wait for the green light to go. And the green light waves better start from the Porsche, and Omar Perez looking like he got a great start, but the BMW of Shane Sullivan, great speed, and Noah Johnson unlucky there. It looks like there was a brake issue as Shane Sullivan losing the position. Omar Perez gets up into second place, and Isaac Rodriguez will look to take third away from Shane Sullivan. Can he get the grip around the outside? And Omar Perez all the way up into the lead now. great stuff from the AMG. Gets by Shane Sullivan and Moriko Yatanashi. So Omar Perez in the lead after 2 corners from 3rd place. And a great jump from Isaac Rodriguez as well, up into 5th place, or excuse me, 4th place. And yeah, that was absolutely epic stuff from the AMG. Tyler Morgan dropping 1 position back to 7th place under a little bit of pressure from Eberhardt in the Porsche. Dr. Porkchop looking to get the places as Eberhardt goes a little bit wide in turn number 9. Will this give the Alpine that little bit of an overlap it needs to look for a move here? And is just not quite close enough from the Alpine, as Ransom will also look to join the battle in the 503 Camaro in the background there. So a fairly clean start there. There were 3 wide at one point going into turn 1, and it looked like Noah Johnson just braked a little bit late. And now Shane Sullivan will try to go around the outside of Tarzan corner. Moriko covering off the inside. And can Isaac Rodriguez find the overlap around the inside with Freiberger trying to get the position around the outside? Isaac might just find himself in an advantageous position here to take the position from the BMW, but all is still the same here. Omar Perez will be very happy about the cars battling behind, as that will allow him to put his head down and put in the consistent laps and build a gap over these battling cars behind. Shane Sullivan in the 617 looking very speedy down the straight. That BMW power, as Brian was saying, coming into play there down the start-finish straight here at Zandvoort. One of the longest points and leading up to one of the slowest points, so it's one of the best overtaking opportunities. But Moriko covering off that position very well the previous 2 attempts. And now Isaac Rodriguez will be the one doing the attacking all over the back of the BMW for that final podium position. A slight mistake from the BMW sees him going over the curb a little bit heavily, but no dramas behind, as a bit of dust getting kicked up from the top 2. And this is a great, super close 5-car battle all the way from Perez to Freiberger. This AMG sandwich in the top 5 with then a 2.5 second gap to Tyler Morgan, who was able to get 6th place back, but he is coming under pressure from Dr. Porkchop. He had the inside for a second, but Tyler covered off that opportunity. Ransom going a little bit deep into turn 1, and now the Alpine will really use that chassis to its advantage through these turns, as Tyler going a little bit deep into turn 3, and not 1 but 2 cars will look to get through. Dr. Porkchop now up into 6th, and it is side by side between the Porsche and the Aston Martin going through the hills at Zandvoort. The inside turns to the outside. There is contact between the 2, and Tyler Morgan will take the position, moving up into 7th place, and that is Johnson deep into the gravel trap in the Aston Martin behind, but able to get it all under control. He rounds out the top 10 for the time being. Oh, and Omar Perez has dropped back. Shane Sullivan will look to take 2nd place. Yatanashi back in the lead after taking pole position. Shane Sullivan to the inside, and now, oh, it's 3 wide. Omar Perez into the gravel. Isaac Rodriguez will sweep through, as will Freiberger. Omar Perez left a little bit stranded in the gravel there. Dr. Porkchop making his way through as well. So now the 2 fields overlapping here, with Tyler Morgan now on the tail of Omar Perez in front. And Shane Sullivan losing the position to Freiberger, but looking to get it right back to the inside of Tarzan corner. He goes deep on the brakes, but great move from the BMW. Will look to recover that ground. There's contact behind. Tyler Morgan goes spinning out at turn 1 there in the background in the 72. Getting back and going on the racing surface in front of Noah Johnson in the 942. And so things have quieted down a little bit at the front. Yatanashi with a 2-second lead over Rodriguez, who in turn also has a 2-second advantage, nearly 3 seconds over Shane Sullivan. And now Drew Freiberger will be coming under pressure from Dr. Porkchop unless he can pull away in the pace of the AMG behind. And Omar Perez now in 6th place after being in the lead. He will look to certainly make up ground as quickly as possible, as the 2 Aston Martins yellow flag the 72 and the 942. That is at the exit of turn number 7, as the Alpine still caught up here in an AMG sandwich. With Omar Perez showing he has the early pace in the AMG to fight for those top spots. And he will look to continue to do that in the closing 13 minutes of the race. So Morico in the lead after starting from pole, but not in the way you would have thought. Dropped back a few places. Sorry to hear, Tyler. Yeah, it looked like a bit of a... just happens sometimes. I'm sure you'll be back strong next week. But that's just how racing goes sometimes. Oh, Dr. Porkchop just holding it within the grip limits there. Omar Perez looking to the inside. A bit of contact between the two. That door might not really have been open there, Omar, as now Eberhardt will look to the inside of Perez at turn number 7, or sorry, turn number 8, excuse me. And they're going to go side by side, exiting turn 9 and into turn 10. Perez has the inside and will take that position back. So the AMG back into 6th place, looking to apply the pressure and get a clean move done on the Alpine in front. Isaac Rodriguez showing he has the pace, posting the fastest lap of the race. Currently in 2nd place, will look to use that pace to try and close the gap to the leading Porsche. That's Morico Yatanashi out in front, and the gap is growing just that little bit to Shane Sullivan, rounding out the podium. But he does have company in Drew Freiberger behind, excuse me. Right around 1.5 seconds is the gap between the BMW and the AMG for 3rd and 4th place. And here we have the battle between 5th, 6th, and 7th. Dr. Porkchop in the Alpine holding on to that top 5 position, with Omar Perez charging quickly behind. Qualified on the 2nd row and got all the way up to the race lead after 3 turns. And not quite sure what happened with Omar, but he did drop back here to 6th. But will look to use the pace that he has around around Zandvoort to try and hold off Eberhard as well. Applying the pressure very heavily in the number 7 Porsche. There's a great 3-car battle here. Oh, and Porkchop going a little bit wide into the gravel. Is this the opportunity that Perez might be looking for? Can't quite take the final corner flat out. So perhaps Porkchop just covering off that opportunity, but the Alpine at a bit of a disadvantage down the straights as usual, and the AMG squeezing the Alpine to the inside. Can the Porsche take advantage? Not quite, and they will remain in the same positions they were before. Alpine ahead of the AMG, ahead of the Porsche. Three absolutely different cars here, racing absolutely bumper to bumper. Brakes did not break. Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear, Noah. Hopefully that problem gets sorted out before next week. Oh, Retrovex raiding with the party as... Oh, and Omar Perez into the wall there after contact with Eberhard. No, they were side by side going through turn 7. As Josh Eberhard will get the position. Retrovex, thank you for the raid. Hope you guys had a great stream. Welcome to the closing 8 minutes of the second race of round 1 in the GT4 Rookies season opener. Tuned in right as all the chaos was unfolding there. So Omar Perez back to the pits, unfortunately, after that contact with the number 7 Porsche. Yeah, Brian, it's like the opposite of the last race. The first 10 minutes is where all the chaos happened in race number 1, and it looks like the final 10 minutes is where it's all happening in race number 2. So the gap's opening up as Moriko Yatanashi now gets the fastest lap of the race. So the gap opening up between the leaders to about 2.3 seconds. Then there is about 4 seconds between Isaac Rodriguez and Shane Sullivan in 3rd place. The gap to Drew Freiberger opened up to 2.5 seconds, and then Dr. Porkchop up ahead there in 5th place, around 2.7 seconds behind the AMG of Freiberger in front, just sometimes coming into the front of shot there. There is that blue mid-pack Mafia AMG putting in the consistent lap times to maintain the position in front of this battling duo. Eberhard pushing that Porsche to the absolute limit of both the car and the track. Just trying to extract as much lap time as possible to get by that nimble little Alpine in front. Dr. Porkchop doing a great job of maintaining that 5th place position from all the pressure he has been facing behind from both Perez and now Eberhard. And through the final corner they go. Approaching Tarzan, nothing separating them once again, but the duo are closing up to the Mercedes of Freiberger in front. So this 2-car battle has now turned into 3, with the 419 at the front of this pack, posting a slightly slow lap time on that last lap. Maybe just a bit of a mistake from the AMG, allowing these two to catch up. So now Dr. Porkchop will look to use that nimble little car to try and squeak on through the big mighty AMG in front. And can Josh Eberhard find any positions in front as well? These two seem pretty evenly matched, but how will they compare to the 419 in front? And the Porsche nearly having a look to the inside of the Alpine. A slight bit of a wiggle exiting turn number 8. Side by side between the Alpine and the Porsche. Can the Alpine hang on to the inside? And it looks like that mistake just cost Dr. Porkchop. Great patience from Eberhard to just wait and wait and wait for that opportunity to open up, and he took it immediately up into the top 5. Goes the Porsche, and he will look to close the gap to the 419 AMG in front. Gap is kind of opening and closing at the front there between Rodriguez and Yatanashi, now down to 1.5 seconds from the nearly 2.5 that it was earlier. And the gap really opening up to Shane Sullivan, but still hanging on to that final podium step in the BMW. Looking to stay in front of this battling duo as Eberhard goes to the inside of turn number 7. That is a very quick corner to get the move done, and a very great move set up by the Porsche to just sweep to the inside and take that position from the AMG. And now the gap is 2 seconds to Shane Sullivan in front for that final podium position. And Dr. Porkchop pull off a move on the 419 as well? Or does Freiberger have the pace? Eberhard going heavily over the curbs, opening up the inside for the 419. They're going side by side, approaching turn number 12. And still side by side they go, exiting the final corner. The Porsche has the inside, but can the AMG find the grip? They're both slowed down, and now the Alpine will look to pick up the draft from the two of them. And look how small that Alpine is compared to the AMG, and he will just hang on and wait for these positions to unfold. The AMG goes very deep. The Alpine rides the curb to the inside, and now the AMG and the Alpine will be side by side as Eberhard slides up into 4th place. He will get that position as Freiberger hangs on to 5th, not allowing the Alpine through. Oh no! Onto the grass and into the barrier goes the Alpine after following the 419 so closely, exiting turn 3, just kicking up a bit of dirt and not able to hang on to the grip in that little Alpine. But Dr. Porkchop still hangs on to 6th place with a big gap to Josh Ransom behind. Unfortunately, he just won't be able to battle for that top 5 position, but will comfortably hang on to 6th place in the closing minute of the race. Haven't really seen much of our top 2 after the first 5 minutes, but Moriko Yatanashi still out in the lead. Isaac Rodriguez closing the gap, but there will be just 1 lap left for Isaac Rodriguez to mount any kind of attack on the race leader Moriko Yatanashi, crossing the line to start the final lap. So the leading 2 going through turn 3, climbing up the hill for the last time. Going through the twisty bits here, through turn 4 and 5, before a dab of brakes down the hill, through turn 6. Little mini straightaway, a kink to the left, and another fast right-hand corner. Lots of sweeping corners at Zandvoort. Super fun track. And our leaders have proven how to drive quickly around here. And more importantly, consistently at that pace as well. Moriko Yatanashi just one sector left for the Mad Fox AM number 53 Porsche to take the race win in race number 2. Rounding out the final corner, showing that that pole position pace could be converted to race pace. Moriko Yatanashi takes the checkered flag on the top step in race number 2. Isaac Rodriguez will finish in second place. Congrats to Isaac in the number 14. Shane Sullivan in third, and Eberhardt recovering up into fourth place. Freiberger takes fifth. Then Dr. Porkchop in that slightly damaged Alpine will take sixth place. Chris Saunderson will be next to cross the line as the 503 of Josh Ransom returning back to the pits. With Saunderson here in seventh place, and the number 18 Audi up to the line, taking the checkered flag in race number 2. Up next with a few corners left is Rally Dutchy, the Mad Fox Am teammate of Moriko Yatanashi. The 621 will take the checkered flag or return to the pits. Neither. Crash into the pit wall is the answer from Rally Dutchy there. Because he didn't take the checkered flag there, that will give the position to Hezzy Thomas. So Hezzy Thomas will take 8th place across the line. And now Tenno Kanoko taking the checkered flag ahead of Rally Dutchy as well. So because Rally Dutchy didn't cross the line, that will give both Hezzy Thomas and Kanoko the positions ahead out on track. So we'll just wait for that final result to filter on through, as we like to invite our podium sitters to join us in the green room for a quick chat. Let us know how your race went. And if not, then no worries at all. So podium from race 1, we had Shane Sullivan, Moriko Yatanashi, and Omar Perez. Race number 2, it was Moriko out on the top step, then Isaac Rodriguez in second, and Shane Sullivan in third. You don't see the green room. Well, I can pull you in from any other room you want, Moriko. I think it is just a permission thing. You just have to go into the channels and roles and make sure that it's selected as visible. So Saunderson has had enough donuts. Back to the pits he goes in the number 18 Audi, as Hezzy Thomas. Hey, there we go. We've got Moriko in the green room. We'll just wait 1 second, Moriko. I want to get these final results out before we head on to the interviews. Well, we saw the results as we crossed the line, and maybe I'll read them once they're interviewed. But we've got Moriko And we've got Shane Sullivan joining us in the stream. How are you two doing this evening?
Doing real good. That was a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Great start to the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Moriko, pole position twice, a bit reluctant, it seemed like in the chat. Didn't really want pole position. What happened there?
I always get nervous when I'm on pole because I'm like, I don't want to get rear-ended.
That's fair. You know, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I can't really blame you there. But yeah, talk us through that start at race number 1. It just didn't look like you quite got a good jump there.
Yeah, Shane caught me sleeping at the start of the race there, so by the turn 1, he just got ahead of me and stuck with it. I couldn't match the top's end of that car.
Yeah, the BMW seemed like had a really good straight line speed advantage. And then, yeah, kind of same thing to you, Shane. What happened, like from your perspective, what did you see from the race start in race number 1?
Yeah, so I felt like towards the end of that formation lap, I noticed that Moriko was kind of dropping a little bit back, and I thought I might be able to jump him if I caught it dead on. And then I kind of knew that BMW certainly has a little more top end than the Porsche. So if you can get the power down quick, you should be able to pull away on one of those. And then it was really just about, getting through turn 1, both of us alive. And then it was all about off to the races and trying to keep them behind for the rest of the race.
Yeah, you seemed like you guys pretty much matched the pace there. I think with both of your fastest laps, like were within like 500ths of each other as they were in the qualifying session. So yeah, pretty much nothing separating you two in race number 1. Race 2, though, a little bit different there. Yeah, Moriko, you're able to hang on to this lead from the start, but Omar Perez there stormed right on through the both of you.
Yeah, I got a little loose going into turn 1. So on the exit, Perez was able to squeeze on by me. Unfortunately, I can't remember what turn it was, but it's that right-hander in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
That second one.
Oh yeah, where it's not like this. Yes. Like
yeah, where it absolutely sucks if you miss it by like half a meter, you're like going off into the dirt.
Yep. Oh, is that because
I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah, Omar had absolutely great pace there. Just didn't quite pick up what happened there. So yeah, thanks for filling us in there. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, just a little bit of a, like you said, a little half a meter miscalculation can really cost you there. But kind of fortunately for you, we're able to get the race lead and kind of didn't look back from there.
No, who is it? Rodriguez was sneaking up on me a couple of times. I had to keep an eye on my rear view just to make sure I kept him there and then he wasn't getting any closer. The gap did get down to, I think, around a second.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of mistakes that I was able to luckily recover from, but that's the closest it got. And then I don't know what happened to me on that last lap, but something clicked and I just kept going with the worn out hot tires. It was weird.
Yeah, it's maybe just too much wear and tear from the race, and kind of costing you a little bit there, but who knows?
I don't know. This track is so tough on tires. It doesn't matter what temperature you're at, that left side is overheating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that whole sector 2 is just an entire right-hand corner pretty much.
Yeah, and it's all flat too.
Yeah, Shane, I think there was a bit of an incident there as well. There was like a 5-car battle, and then it looked like you were able to, it was like in turn number 10, I believe, that slow right-hand corner. Thanks for the follow, Spook. Sorry to interrupt you there. But yeah, like I guess I interrupted myself. That was kind of weird. Anyway. But yeah, kind of talk us through that moment. It looked like that was the moment that kind of Omar and you were going side by side, I believe, into turn number 10.
Yeah, so I think it was one of those tricky situations where kind of 3 trying to go into a spot that's barely wide enough for 2. And then was got in front of Perez, but a little little love tap from behind kind of sent me just trying to keep it straight,
Right.
on the inside of that little hairpin there, and luckily was able to save it. I think unfortunately that might have been the end of Perez's race there, but just one of those things I think you kind of expect it. I'm happy with the result from race 1, so it was one of those kind of anything at this point is gravy. Obviously would have loved to have stuck with the guys up front, but happy to bring it home even with some damage to the rear.
I was wondering what happened to you. You were several seconds behind. You were, I don't know, I was expecting you to be like right on my bumper that entire second race. That's what I was looking at right at the start.
That's exactly what I was looking at too. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be fun. He and I can disappear again. We'll get 8 seconds down the road, then we'll stop battling it out. But unfortunately, it was one of those things. I think I had a good bit of damage on the rear end that just kind of, as things went on, certainly didn't help keep the tires cool at all. And then it sort of, once you guys got over 5 seconds out in front, it kind of fell into one of those, I might as well just try to limp this thing home.
About the best as you can really do in that situation.
Yeah, 100%, but still, podium position, super strong pace at the beginning of the season from both of you. Moriko, after taking a season off, already back to a flying start.
Well, I play a lot of iRacing, so that does certainly help me quite a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Well, congrats to you two on the podium finishes in both races 1 and 2, starting the season on a high note. And we will hopefully see you guys back in the stream room in race number 2. Move you guys on back here to the green room. Raid reminder. Thanks, Eric. We'll get that going here in just a second. And so the new seasons at Trackalicious are officially underway now. We had the draft for the new Draft and Drive season on Sunday. The first race for that one will be this coming Sunday on the 24th. On Wednesday, we have the multi-class league in ACC starting up between the GT3s and the GT4s. So that will be carrying over from last season. Super fun championship last season. Carrying over once again into the start of the fall seasons here at Trackalicious. The iRacing multi-class season for Thursdays has been announced as well. And then that, I believe those two are getting going this week. And then next week on Tuesday will be the beginning of the Le Mans Ultimate League on Tuesdays. So lots of action to look forward to on the sim racing calendar, as well as the in real life calendar. There's some track days left in the season that Trackalicious is hosting. So be on the lookout for those. Those might be near an area near you. And like Eric said, raid reminder, and a raid reminder to everybody else. Stick around for the raid. Make sure to say hello from one sim racing community to another. And another reminder, Trackalicious will be at the Sim Gaming Expo in Chicago the first weekend of September. I believe Eric will be there, and the lovely streamer we are going to raid now, This Dad's Bad, will be present at the Sim Gaming Expo as well that weekend. So hope to see many more faces there from Trackalicious. Hopefully you guys can make it. I believe it's in Chicago this year. And there is the link to the Sim Gaming Expo, and I believe there is a code from Trackalicious you can use as well. Don't quote me. And there, now you can quote me. 10% off using that code right there. Hopefully we will see you all there. Thank you all for joining us for the season opener of the GT4 Rookies in ACC here at Trackalicious. Hope you enjoyed it. 2 races completed. Lots more of the season to go. And with that being said, I hope you all Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you may be joining us from. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Stick around for the raid of this Dad's Bad. Tell them Trackalicious sent you. Have a good one. We will catch you all next time.